What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Gore, and it is time for another week's worth of college football picks. Post CFP edition, the playoff committee has kind of gotten together now. They're starting to release their rankings. We'll see how that goes as the month of November progresses on. But we're in it now. Now we're coming down the stretch, down the home stretch of the season. Some big games are going to start taking place this month, and it's really going to kind of sort out who goes where and who is a playoff contender and who isn't. I think the committee has a fairly difficult job this year. It might be their toughest set of rankings to make because there are really more than four deserving teams at this point. I know some games will be separators when it comes down to it, but going to be a difficult job for the committee to kind of get things sorted out because there are a lot of teams that are worthy currently of being in the playoffs. So with that being said, let's make some picks. 52 and 48. I'm just stuck in the mud. Like, it's been my worst year of picks. We'll see what happens. We'll just keep going and keep making them live, right? So we'll start with, obviously I could go 10 to 1. I've got a couple of candidates for a 10-point game. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave Fresno State where they are over San Jose State in the late night window Saturday. Against a San Jose State team that has been okay, but not obviously 4-5, so it's not been a great year for them. And I am still on the Fresno State bandwagon. I still think it's a very good team. Obviously, 8-1 is the record speaks for itself, but they're good. They're very good. Should they be ranked? I mean, I don't know. I'd have to look at the rankings. I have a lot of respect for the teams in the group of five who are not, traditional powerhouses in the Power Five and all that. And I like the good teams in the group of five. I just have a soft spot for them. And this particular year, Fresno State is pretty high on that list, right? So I'm going to leave them where they are. It's a late night game. I hate leaving points out till the late window on Saturdays, but in this case, I think I feel pretty good about it. And I will kind of move on to the next one. Now, the next one I'm going to do here, I'm going to give a call to Kansas at home against Texas Tech. Not a great year for Texas Tech. Again, same thing, 4-5 situation in Kansas. I was worried that Kansas would fall into the trap a little bit after the win at Oklahoma. They did not. They were able to clean up Iowa State. So I think this team is, that kind of shows you where Kansas is at, right? Like, this is a very different Kansas team, and the question now, I think, is whether or not they can hold on to Lance Leipold. I thought I saw a thing where he interviewed with Michigan State. He's going to be a hot coaching candidate basically every year. So for Kansas, it's going to be, it might be a bit difficult to keep him in the future here. I hope he stays there because, like I say, I really enjoy the story of this rebirth of the Kansas program. I hope he stays. Kansas ranked 16th. They deserve it. Give me them at home against Texas Tech. Now, where else am I going here? I feel bad for Rutgers. I really do, because they're having a really good year. Greg Schiano, again, another program that's been resurrected, 6-3. They're going to a bowl game. It's outstanding. Kudos to them, and kudos to Greg Schiano for, again, taking the program and elevating it again. But let's be real, their offense isn't great. It's not really a threatening offense. Like, they just do enough on that side of the ball, and they run into this Iowa team that I mean, it's punishment watching this Iowa team. But they win games. I've been saying this all year with them. They just win. They play obviously top-notch level defense, but it is punishment to watch this team try to move the ball on offense. Now, the newsworthy bit that's come out recently is that Brian Ferentz will not be returning as the offensive coordinator next year. He's basically going to finish out this season and then be gone, which I admittedly did not think would happen. I thought that the Ferentz family basically has a stranglehold on the Iowa program, and that Kirk is the king there, and that's just that, right? As long as he wanted Brian there, he was going to stay. But things have obviously changed. I mean, you can't look at the Iowa offense and say, oh man, these guys really know what they're doing. It's pathetic. So Brian Ferentz will leave. The question is who Kirk brings in, because it's going to be largely on his shoulders, the decision to bring in an offensive coordinator, right? Is he really going to bring in a modern guy? Is he really going to turn this offense into a spread like Lincoln Riley offense? Of course not. No. But let's see if Iowa modernizes the offense. That's a question for next year in the offseason. For this weekend, give me Iowa at home against Rutgers. Like I say, I just feel bad for them here. This is again, this will be like a 6-0 game, something like that. Just something just terrible to watch. But I think Iowa will win. Moving on. Got a couple of nice Sun Belt, Conference USA games happening here. I'm going to pass on those a little bit. I'm going to take Boston College at home against Virginia Tech. Now, I did see the line on this game and thought that was a little funky, that Virginia Tech is favored. I'm not quite sure why. They're not very good offensively. Virginia Tech, again, another kind of stinky team to watch. Now, Boston College isn't exactly great either. But give me Boston College at home in that sleepy environment there to kind of take care of Virginia Tech. The theme among college football this season, really, as we get into November, there are a lot of teams that are kind of around 4-5, 5-4, that need wins to get to a bowl game. And we got to get a lot of teams bowl eligible at this point in order to fill out a full field without having to take 5 and 7s. So, this could be a Virginia Tech gives it your best shot kind of thing, because they need this and probably the Virginia game to get bowl eligible. So that worries me a little bit. But I'm going to take Boston College at home, and we'll see what happens. I'll throw some points on it. Like I say, I just don't believe in Virginia Tech offense just yet. Moving on, I think I'm going to take Oklahoma State on the road at UCF. Oklahoma State has found themselves, man. They are rolling on offense now, and that's what I said at the beginning of the year about them. It was like I didn't know what they were. They didn't know what they were, but they found Ollie Gordon, and they are off and running. And Alan Bowman has kind of solidified the quarterback position. I picked against it. I probably should have just kind of went with my heart a little bit more. On a personal level, like, it's really, really sweet to see Oklahoma State on their home field beat Oklahoma and send them officially packing in that rivalry in Bedlam to the SEC. It's bittersweet, but I'm happy for Oklahoma State and the program and the fans for kind of sending that message. It is a shame. It's a crying shame that Bedlam will not continue. But if it's going to end, I would think I'd prefer it ending with an Oklahoma State victory. I think that's pretty sweet justice. And I think they'll continue that again on the road at UCF. A couple more games to go here. It's starting to get a little tricky as far as putting points somewhere. I am going to pick Michigan at Penn State. Penn State is that... the way I look at Penn State, right? Like, they're clearly not Michigan and Ohio State, right? But they're a good team. So, like, they can't really hang with the elite top tier. But they beat everybody else, right? And then they make you think like, oh, okay, this is going to be the year Penn State. It just doesn't really happen all that much. I don't think it's going to happen here. Look, Michigan, I mean, it's, speaking of Bedlam, it's fucking Bedlam listening to Michigan in the news with what's going on with Connor Stallions and the cheating stuff. It's obviously a huge story. It's obviously, my take on this real quick is like twofold. Number one, I think it would be pretty naive to think that attempts to steal signs hasn't been going on prior to this. It's just that Michigan was the first team in a high-profile way to get caught doing it, right? I think the difference is the level at which it went to, right? And again, the fact that they got caught, and kind of the things, the specifics around Connor Stallions is what makes it striking and newsworthy, right? Because I think a lot of teams always attempt to decipher the opponent's signals. But the way Michigan went about it here, it's and specifically Connor Stallions, is just kind of, overt and, in your face and kind of, defiant. What happens going forward? I don't know. The team itself, they need to focus on football because they're obviously a playoff contending, national championship contending team. I think they will be able to keep their focus. It might be the best thing to get them on the field and get them away from the noise, right? And I think they will take care of Penn State on the road, albeit in a really, really, really big game, and it should be a fun one to watch. A couple more left. I'm gonna take Texas State on the road at Coastal Carolina. I've kind of been talking them up a little bit because of their offense with the new head coach, right? They are able to really, really score points. Again, Texas State, another team that has made bowl eligibility at this point. So again, be fun to see. Be fun to see this Texas State team in a bowl game for the first time in a while. I respect Coastal though; they're a very good team, coached really well, always competitive. Again, another one of those move-up teams that really, really performed well right out of the gate. I'm going to go with that explosive offense, though. It's just a lean. I know I'm kind of going against the grain a little bit here, but give me Texas State and maybe a little bit of an upset against a good Coastal Carolina team in what's probably going to be a fun, entertaining game to watch. A couple more left. I'll take Georgia here. I'm only going to put small points on it. And you know what I might even do? I might just move it up one. Put it at 4 here against Ole Miss. Georgia, yes, it's not the absolute dominant, no question about it, Georgia teams, but they're still really, really good. And they haven't, losing Brock Bowers, they haven't really missed a whole hell of a lot. They just kind of churn out the next talent because they're a recruiting machine there. But I do really, really like this Ole Miss team. I think their defense has gotten a bit better. Even though, like I say, I don't really fully trust the Ole Miss defense. But I do trust Lane to put up points. So I think this will be a competitive game. I think Ole Miss is very, very good. Like I say, they have this Alabama hump that they can't get over. Otherwise, they'd be sitting pretty at 9-0 and kind of in the driver's seat in the SEC West. So good game, competitive game. Give me Georgia. I think it'll be a little bit closer though than people think. That's why I'm putting lower points on it. The next game, this Tennessee-Missouri game, man, I am really looking forward to. Really good offenses, really closely matched game here. I mean, this game is probably going to come down to the small things, turnovers, the usual stuff that decides a football game. I'm going to take Missouri at home. I actually really, really like this Missouri team. If Luther Burden was anywhere else in college football, if he was on a major program, like if he was at Ohio State, he would be getting talked about nearly as much as Marvin Harrison, right? If he was at Alabama, he would be the next big thing at wide receiver, right? But because he's at Missouri and he stayed home, he's kind of flown under the radar. He is a great receiver, and that offense is really, really good around him. Not to the quarterback. It's just a good offensive team. And look, Tennessee is too. Like I said, it's not the same Tennessee team as last year, but they have been able to. I was surprised at what Joe Milton's been able to do. It's the first instance where he's really shown that ability. So I like Tennessee. No slight against them. I just think really, really fun game. Number 13, number 14, going to be a good one. I just lean really, really slightly to Missouri. Now, this next game, who would have thought? At the beginning of the year, I think I did a video where I was doing a recap video, and I threw New Mexico State in there, and I said, well, I don't know how much we're going to really be talking about New Mexico State this year, but here's your chance, right? Well, here they are, 7-3, having a great year, and it's going bowling. And we're in November, and we're still talking about New Mexico State. So kudos to them for having a great year. Again, nice to see them in a bowl game. We'll see where they end up. Should be fun. I am going to go the other way in this one, though. I'm going to go with Western Kentucky in that offense. Again, firepower. They know what to do. They can light the scoreboard up. They are at home. And I think I said, like I say, New Mexico State, they have turned the page, right? This program's been a dump for a long time, but they've got some life now, and the 7 wins is going to put them squarely in bowl eligibility. Maybe they get another win or 2 to close out the year. I just don't think it'll come here. I think Western Kentucky wins it at home. So that's the picks for this week, guys. Fresno State at 10, Kansas 9, Iowa 8, Boston College 7, Oklahoma State 6, Michigan 5, Georgia at 4, Texas State 3, Missouri 2, and Western Kentucky at 1. Thank you guys very much for watching this video. If you liked it, hit it with a like. Press that subscribe button. Would love you if you did that. It would help me out greatly. And drop me a comment. I'd love to hear from you. And thank you guys again, and I'll see you in the next one.